You should have seen his face.
When I told him I was his father.
I told my son, who did not know that I was his father, that I was his father. Number one, I wouldn't call us partners. We're just roommates. There's nothing sexual going on.
We're hetero life mates.
We're hetero life mates at best.
That means not gay.
Tell them about the dog.
Not gay, but with all the benefits. Again, how long have we known each other? Middle school style.
It's really
But really more so high school.
So yeah, it must have been middle school-ish that we like met, but we were never like really good friends.
Right. So probably like freshman or sophomore year of high school?
It's probably around then, yeah. Yeah, something like that. So that's when this really sort of
very tense sexual things started going on.
No, I wasn't going to say that because it has nothing to do with that. But this sort of reign of power started because we're very important. Let's bring this back to each True Hollywood Story, okay? When did it start?
If we could go back to each True Hollywood Story. I fathered myself and murdered Marilyn Manson. True Hollywood Story.
Marilyn Manson's still alive.
Some people like to think he is.
So when did we start brewing? I think it was the Dunkel. I think it was the Dunkel that we started brewing. And I was like, hey, I work for a beer distributor. Let's brew some beer because I want to know more about, you know, what I'm getting paid to do and what purchased this house. Look at and then I let one of them sit in my fridge because I lost it in there.
Right.
For like half a year.
And because everything I brew is higher ABV, it sat and aged well. And that thing was amazing. Yeah, remember that last one we had?
That's what my face is saying right now. It's mostly how good it was.
I don't like any of it.
I disagree with everything you just said.
I like brewing it and drinking it, and I hate cleaning up after it. If that answers the question. Can we move on already?
I don't think...
Haven't we talked long enough about this question?
I don't think I got a chance to answer the question. I own the house, so I'm in charge.
Okay.
Everything over your head belongs to me. Therefore, no matter what you do, I'm in charge of it. And I can sit there and do nothing. I can go to work and do my job as an American, and you can brew beers. I'm still in charge of that shit.
I don't like how the camera is just on Kyle now.
Well, this face is actually going to become famous someday, so you need to get used to it. But
I
put the house
it'll become famous for doing gay
over your head,
possibly.
I put the house over your head, and I allowed you to bring your beer brewing stuff in here. And then I took
a stretch
particular interest in allowing you to put it in one corner of the basement.
Wow.
And then I took even more interest in the amazing, amazing, amazing flavors of the beers that we put together. So therefore, you're in charge.
I'm in charge.
I'm working towards being a salesman for a beer distributor, and I'm very social. And I like to get my ideas out on the table. And I like working and learning about the brewing process as I do it. And you sort of hold the expertise, which answers the former question.
That does.
So I like to apply that to my everyday life in terms of my job, in terms of my house, which I pay for and you live in and pay me as well.
I'm not sure if this has anything to do with personality.
Yeah, I digress.
A very large digression. You want to get punched?
I think I sort of introduced the video as we're hetero life mates, so that means we're straight and really good friends.
Right.
So all the gay jokes
I think that answers everything. I think that answers the question there.
It's good. That's
I think the question's
decent.
been answered. Essentially, my brewing philosophy is to take a look at the style guidelines, pick out the things I like about the style guidelines, stick to some of them, usually go to the extreme. Fuck you. I don't know.
I wasn't doing anything.
Okay.
No, I was just drinking. I don't know.
Usually go to the extreme high end or low end of any of the guidelines, appearance, flavor, blah blah blah, mouthfeel. And then sort of just disregard some of the stuff. So I do take risks, but also sort of halfway adhere to the style guidelines as well. The guy from Pretty Things, he said he doesn't pay attention to style guidelines at all. And that's just like far, far, far too bold for me.
I don't know, when you brew and like we kind of put something together, I mean, there's always risks involved. Doesn't matter.
Oh no,
doesn't matter how big it is, you know. There's always
absolutely.
something that you do that's a little bit different. Like, oh my God, I'm adding this sort of whiskey to this beer to try and.
That's true. I did add 151 to the vanilla stout.
151 and the cinnamon and stuff in there. I mean, that was sort of a different twist.
Yeah, that's true.
And it really, I mean, you sent it to the Sam Adams long shot.
Yeah,
and
I have added vanilla bean to quite a few beers as well, but like. But I'm not so far out there like the dude from Pretty Things. Like, he doesn't even look at guidelines. I look at guidelines, pick out the things that I like about it, and disregard some other things.
No, I take risks because I actually exhaust my muscles stirring it while he stands there and makes sure that I do it correctly. I think we have the same style and sensibility in brewing because pretty much every time we come up with a concept, it's sort of a consensual thing, more or less, and you need consent to have fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know that you've been around a lot of the time that we've done the Belgians together.
Yep. And I'm sort of on a Belgian kick right now. So anytime a Belgian is thrown out, I'm on that.
Kyle. What are we drinking here?
It's a Belgian barley wine, Adam.
It's a Belgian barley wine, good sir.
And I knew that.
Quite exquisite. You did know it. Kyle, have we ever disagreed?
Only when we're hammered.
Every time that we brew, we are hammered.
But it still turns out delicious.
It does.
So we usually, when we brew, we usually disagree on things like what's the temperature right now.
I would say that
I'd say it's like 82 right now.
Yeah, I would say it was 83. We would disagree on that.
That's probably the biggest disagreement.
I would say that we would disagree on what sort of beer to drink next during the brew process. Agree to agree.
Yes. Finally, cheers.
Agree to agree.
Right. The disagreements usually happen in between the idea process and the actual brewing. So it's in terms of the actual brewing, no disagreements really. It's sort of a consensus.
Yeah, we pretty much have this. We pretty much have the same style. Waiting on you, Mark. Drink.
I guess the correct answer to that question is you.
Suppose so.
Because more or less every time you've brewed, we've discussed the ideas, we've kind of put it together,
yep.
And
you've been there with me, but I'm formulating mostly the recipes. I want this, and I want this, and I would put them there.
And I would throw in my 2 cents.
I would take this and I would sprinkle some on there, like salt.
But it really created a good product.
I do not disagree there.
It really did create a good product. So I think the answer to that question is yes. He is the stronger brewer. I am more of the assistant, and
assistant to the regional brewer.
I am really the one that puts like sort of this guy right here, this little muscle right into it.
He puts that in there, but
because you're sort of the facilitator, and I stir.
What does make our team dynamic interesting?
I think we would have the funniest beer brewing show on television.
I think it would be hilarious. I think that people would literally not be able to fathom how drunk we are while we're brewing. Because I'm a man, I have about 7 to 8 very nice beers while I'm brewing.
I really think like our beer brewing show would sort of be a drinking show.
I also agree that it would be a bit of a drinking show.
Every grain that we add is a beer.
There we go. Every single grain that's added, that's a beer.
Thousands.
Drink a beer.
We would be to beer brewing what Danica Patrick is to NASCAR.
I think that's a great analogy.